in previous video I discussed the first PU syllabus. Clear? And now today's class I am going to discuss the number system. My dear students, this already you learn what is mean by rational numbers, what is mean by real numbers, what is mean by here it is negative integers, what is mean by rational numbers. These all numbers you discussed, but still just I'll recall the things whatever we learned in the previous standard. Clear? So now we will discuss, my dear students, the number system. So the bigger number system is, we can call it as complex number. But I think you know these real numbers, irrational, rational, integers, non-integers, positive integers, negative integers, what is mean by whole numbers. This all part you discussed in the earlier classes. But the complex number is a bigger number system. Please remember, my dear students, up to here, up to class 11th, if someone asked you which number is bigger number, means you will tell real numbers. But my dear students, now onwards you should say the bigger number system is, here it is, complex number. So please remember, my dear students, the complex number is denoted by the symbol Z. So this, what is meant by complex number, how will be the number in this complex number, that we will discuss in the here it is portion, in your first P syllabus I already given to you. So this is the chapter you have complex number. There we will discuss the introduction of this complex number, but as of now just it is a one number system here it is. So complex numbers is a bigger number system, and now they mainly from these complex numbers mainly we are dividing into two parts. So in number system there exist two, so there are two parts, two number systems are there, my dear students. First one we can call it as real numbers, and this we can call it as imaginary numbers. So real numbers means these numbers exist, but imaginary, as name itself indicates that imaginary numbers does not exist, but still for the convention to solve the solution for the equations we are using this imaginary number concept. But as of now just I wrote here it is, but we will study that remaining here it is in the topic complex numbers. So come to here, my dear students, now real numbers. The real numbers we can divide it into irrational and rational numbers. Clear? And rational numbers again we are dividing into integers and non-integers, and in integer we are giving positive integer, negative integer and 0. So including all these positive integer, negative integer and 0, we can call it as whole numbers, and this positive integer we can call it as natural numbers. My dear students, this is just in brief I explained, but now we are going to discuss one by one. So first we will discuss, my dear students, natural numbers. So what is mean by natural numbers? First I am going to discuss, here it is natural numbers. So here it is, I am naming it as natural numbers. So what is mean by natural numbers, my dear students? And this natural numbers is, we will denote by the symbol capital N. So in Kannada you can call it as Swabhavika Sankhyagalu. So natural numbers means, my dear students, if I asked you how many fingers are here, means how will you count? You will count like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will count like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you never start with 0. 0, 1, 2, 3. Like you won't count. You will count by starting number itself as 1. So therefore, my dear students, all counting numbers we can call it as natural numbers. All counting numbers we can call it as natural numbers, and we will denote it by the symbol capital N. So what are numbers here it is then? Then you can call here it is N is equals to, here it is, my dear students, it is, here it is, we should not write 0, 1, 2, 3 up to so on. These such type of numbers we can call it as natural numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever counting numbers are there, those all numbers we can call it as natural numbers, and we will denote the symbol that is by using capital N. My dear students, you can write here it is up to so on, here it is so many numbers, up to so many numbers are there. We cannot write all those numbers. So for that reason we are using one symbol. That symbol we will write like this, and this we can call it as infinity. Infinity means what it indicates? It is not a number, it is just a sign to represent that still there are so many numbers are there. To indicate that I am using the symbol infinity. If I write infinity means you should understand that still up to so on in this pattern so many numbers are there. So that instead of writing so many numbers we are using this symbol. This we can call it as infinity. So my dear students, natural numbers means what? Natural numbers are all counting numbers. We can call it as natural numbers. 1 2 3 up to so on up to infinity. This we can call it as natural numbers. In Kannada you can call it as swabhavika sankhyegalu. Clear? So you can call it as swabhavika sankhyegalu. Swabhavika sankhyegalu. So my dear students, ಆಲ್ ಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ನಂಬರ್ಸನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಂಬರ್ಸನ್ನು ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಸ್ವಾಭಾವಿಕ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆಗಳು ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಈ ಸ್ವಾಭಾವಿಕ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಜೀರೋ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ 1 2 3 ಈ ಥರ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಸ್ವಾಭಾವಿಕ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸಿಂಬಾಲ್ ಎನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಸಿಂಬಾಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಐ ರೋಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೇನೆ. 1 2 3 ಅಪ್ ಟು ಸೊ ಆನ್ ಇನ್ಫಿನಿಟಿ ಇರೋದನ್ನು ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ? ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So ನಾನಿಲ್ಲಿ 1 2 3 up to so on 5 6 up to crore lakh billion up to so on I cannot write all those numbers. So ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾನು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನು ಬರೀತೇನೆ? ಅಪ್ ಟು ಸೊ ಆನ್ ಈ ರೀತಿ 3 ಡಾಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಇನ್ಫಿನಿಟಿ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಅಂಡ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮೈ ಡಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ whole numbers. So next is here it is whole numbers. So whole numbers means what? Whole numbers means you can use the symbol W. So whole numbers means to the natural numbers, if you add 0 then that we can call it as, here it is, that we can call it as swabhavika sankhyegalu. So I think in Kannada we can call it as purna sankhyegalu. Clear? So purna sankhyegalu means what, my dear students? This is nothing but, I don't know exactly in what we call in Kannada, but here it is whole numbers means what? Whole numbers means here it is including 0 to the natural numbers. If you include 0 then such a type of numbers we can call it as, here it is whole numbers. Clear, my dear students? So it is 0 1 2 3 up to so on we can call it as whole numbers, and it is denoted by the symbol capital. Here it is W we will denote. So W means what? ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಾಭಾವಿಕ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ. ಸ್ವಾಭಾವಿಕ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಜೀರೋನು ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಜೀರೋನು ಸೇರಿಸಿ ನಾವು ಸ್ವಾಭಾವಿಕ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆಗಳನ್ನು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ? ಹೋಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿನೋಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಸಿಂಬಾಲ್ W. And next we will denote, my dear students, next we will discuss what is mean by, here it is, see here it is. We discussed what is mean by natural numbers, and now I am including to the natural numbers. If I include 0 means that we can call it as whole numbers. And next we will discuss, my dear students, what is mean by integers. Clear? So what is mean by integers, and the integers is denoted by the symbol I. Here it is. Generally we will denote the symbol I for the integers, and we will also denote Z for the integers. So integers means what? Integers means, my dear students, here it is, this n 1 2 3 whatever we have, these numbers we can call it as positive integer. Clear? So before that, what is integers then? Integers means it is nothing but to the whole numbers, my dear students. Positive, these natural numbers and negative natural numbers including 0 we can call it as integers. What I told? So here it is, to this 1 2 3 up to so on infinity, these we can call it as the positive integers. Or to this, here it is, this to the natural numbers, here it is, to these natural numbers including 0. And next the negative of these numbers also if you take means that we can call it as integers, and that is we will denote by the symbol I. Then what are those? Then those are, my dear students, here it is, I is equals to, I can write here it is 0. Here it is, I'll write the natural numbers 1 2 3 up to so on infinity. And now here it is including negative of this negative natural numbers we can also call. So what are those? -1 -2 minus 3 up to so on. Here it is up to so on. I am writing here it is up to so on minus infinity. So this we can call it as, here it is, integers. So what are integers, my dear students? To the natural numbers, or else to the, here it is, to the positive natural numbers and negative natural numbers including 0, we can call it as integers, and that is denoted by the symbol I. Clear? And now my dear students, this we can, this numbers 1 2 3, this I can call it as, here it is, positive integers. So what are positive integers then? The positive integers are, here it is 1 2 3 up to so on. This we can call it as positive integers. And now this we can call it as, here it is, negative integer. So this we can call it as negative integers, and this we can call it as positive integers. My dear students, here it is, this we can 1 2 3 we can also call it as, here it is 1 2 3 up to so on infinity, we can also call it as positive integers. And now to this minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 we can call it as negative integers. And please remember, this 0 is, here it is, neither positive nor negative, neither positive nor negative. So it being neither positive nor negative, to this, here it is, for the integers, here it is, you can take for the positive, here it is, you can take, here it is, in the positive also, if positive integers also you can take, or you can take for example, non-negative integers. If we are taking the non-negative integers, means, here it is, next, here it is, non-negative integers, non-negative integers. So what are non-negative integers? First we'll discuss, we discussed integers. So integers means what? To, here it is, to the natural numbers, if you take the negative natural numbers and including 0, that we can call it as integers. And next, non-negative integers. Non-negative integers means, what are those? Non-negative integers means which are not negative. Non-negative integers means, what are those? 1 2 3 up to so on. My dear students, these are all the integers which are not non-negative. These are not negative. So therefore 1 2 3 up to so on, this we can call it as non-negative integer. So here you can include 0 you can include, or you cannot. Here it is, why? Means because here it is, 0 is neither positive nor negative. So therefore to the non-negative integers we can include 0. And similarly, my dear students, non-positive integers. So non-positive integers means, here it is, the integers, non-positive integers means the integers which are not positive. So not positive means, what are those? Not positive means these all numbers. So here it is, minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 up to so on infinity. Here also you can include 0 because 0 is neither positive nor negative. So therefore you can include, here it is. So non-positive integers. What are non-positive integers? Non-positive integers means the integers which are not positive, that we can call it as non-positive integers. Non-negative means which are not negative. So non-negative means you should take the positive integers 1 2 3. But here it is, 0 you can include because 0 is neither positive nor negative. So this is all about, my dear students, integers. So integers, what are integers? Here it is, 0 plus 1 minus 1 plus 2 minus 2 plus 3 minus 3. Here it is, these all in this fashion, whatever numbers are there, those numbers we can call it as integers. And now we will discuss, my dear students, here it is, next concept we are discussing, what is mean by rational numbers. Clear? So now please pause the video. Up to here it is, please pause the video to note it down. Next I am going to discuss what is mean by rational numbers. Clear? Yes, please pause the video to note it down. Next we will discuss, the next one is, my dear students, rational numbers. So what is mean by rational numbers? The definition now we are going to discuss. And the rational number, the symbol we can use it as Q. Clear? So now, my dear students, I am going to define the rational numbers. Clear? So here it is rational numbers, and the symbol for rational numbers, as I told, that is Q. So what is meant by rational numbers then? The rational numbers means, my dear students, a number of the form P by Q where P and Q are must be integers here, and here it is Q does not belongs to 0. What is the condition, my dear students? Q should not be equals to 0, and P, and here it is P and Q must be integers. Such a number we can call it as rational number. So what is the definition of rational numbers? A number of the form P by Q where P and Q are the integers and Q does not belongs to 0. Such a numbers we can call it as, here it is, rational numbers. Clear? My dear students, example you can take, here it is 2 by 1. My question is it a rational number? Yes, 2 by 1 is a rational number. Why it is rational number? Because this is of the form P by Q. P by Q form you have, and P and Q must be integers. 2 and 1 are the integers, and Q should not be equal to 0. It means denominator value should not equal to 0. So denominator value 1 is there. So therefore the denominator value is not equal to 0, and P and 2 and 1 are the integers. So therefore this number we can call it as, here it is, rational number. Clear? And now my dear students, this 2 by 1, can I call it as simply 2? Clear? So therefore 2 is a rational number, 3 is a rational number, 4 is a rational number, because 4 we can write it as 4 by 1, 3 we can write it as 3 by 1, so on. Such numbers we can call it as rational numbers. My dear students, sometimes what happens, here it is, I'll take here it is 22 by 7, or I'll take here it is, or else you can take it as root 2. So what happens, my dear students? Root 2, here it is, or else just take it as root 2. So if you calculate root 2, here what happens? Values root 2 you can take, or else root 2 is a irrational number, that you already know. So just, my dear students, I'll tell you another one definition for the rational numbers. Sometimes what happens, even though a number is in the form of P by Q, in such situations we cannot call it as the rational numbers. Clear? For that reason we should use another one definition. What is that? After decimal, here it is, after the decimal, if you divide any number, means after the decimal the values, here it is, after the decimal the values should, here it is, after the decimal point you can take, here it is, my dear students, 2 by 3. So what is the value for 2 by 3? So if you take 2 by 3 means you will get the value 0.66 up to so on infinity. So another one definition for rational number is, after the decimal, my dear students, you should consider, here it is, after the decimal, here after the decimal the values, here it is, the values, if the values, so after the decimal, if the values repeating or terminating, then we can call, here it is, then we can call such a numbers as rational numbers. So this is another one definition, my dear students. What is that? Here it is, after the decimal, if the values repeating or terminating, then we can call that numbers as the rational numbers. So there are two definitions we are going to conclude whether the given number is rational or not. So either you should use this definition, and also you should check this definition also, because sometimes what happens, even though a given number is in the form of P by Q, in such situations we cannot call, here it is, that as a rational number. For that reason we will see this definition. What is that? We should divide, after dividing, after the decimal point, if values repeating or terminating, then only we can call it as rational numbers. Clear? If after the decimal point, if values are not repeating, not terminating, then such a numbers we can call it as irrational numbers. My dear students, terminating means end. The value should be end after the decimal 0.6. If it is a 0.6 means, then we can call that number as, my dear students, here it is, not here it is terminate. 0.6 only we can write means, my dear students, or terminating means such a numbers, here it is 0.6666, here it is. What happening here it is, my dear students, values here not ending, here it is end. Terminating means what? After the decimal the value should stop, but 0.6666 up to so on, here it is. What happening here it is, value is not terminating, here it is. Here it is, in this case value is, here it is, not terminating. Clear? So not terminating. Terminating means what? Terminating means if I write only 0.6, then we can say that after the decimal value is terminating. Clear? But here it is 0.6666 up to so on. It means value is not terminating. Then such a number we can call it as rational numbers. After the decimal, if the value is not terminating, then such a number we can call it as irrational number. In this case, what happening here it is, if you calculate 2 by 3, the value for this is 0.666 up to so on. It means after the decimal value is, here it is, not terminating. Terminate means we should end up, the value should end up, here it is, but here it is values goes on, goes on, here it is, it's repeating. Clear? So values, here it is, there are two conditions you should observe. One is whether it is repeating or terminating, you should check. Here after the decimal the value is, here it is, repeating, and here it is repeating or terminate. So here it is, value is repeating, here it is. So therefore if the value is repeating means, here it is, then we can call it is that as the rational numbers. Here after the decimal, if the value is repeating or terminating, then we can call it as rational number. After the decimal the values, what happening here it is, values are repeating, means 0.66666 is like this, repeating. So therefore such a number you can call it as rational numbers. Clear? And now we are going to discuss, my dear students, the next one is irrational numbers. So what is irrational numbers? I think here clear it is. 0.666 means, here it is, after the decimal, if the values are repeating or terminating, here the values are repeating, so therefore this is a rational number. Very clear? Clear? After the decimal the values are repeating, so therefore this is the rational number. My dear students, next we will discuss what is mean by irrational numbers. So what is mean by irrational numbers? The generally you can call it as a number which is not a rational. Such a numbers we can call it as irrational number. So irrational numbers means what? A number which is not a rational, you can call it as irrational number. And another one definition, here it is, after decimal, here it is, after decimal. So after decimal, if values or if digits you can take, or in general you can take values. After decimal, if digits are not repeating, not terminating, not repeating, not terminating, then not repeating, not terminating, such numbers we can call, here it is, irrational numbers. You can call it as irrational numbers. So what is irrational numbers? After the decimal, if digits are not repeating, not terminating, so such a numbers we can call it as irrational numbers. For example, you can take, my dear students, here it is, example you can take it as root 2, root 7. These are all examples for the irrational numbers. And even my dear students, pi is also, you can call it as, here it is, irrational number. Why pi is a irrational number? Pi is a irrational number because pi means you will calculate the pi's values, you can calculate as 22 by 7. If you calculate 22 by 7, the pi value you will get it as 3.142 up to so on. you will get the values up to so on, you will get the values. So therefore after decimal, here it is after the decimal, digits are not repeating, not terminating. Here it is values keeps go on, be there will be values will come. Here it is, if you calculate in the calculator means, if here it is if you calculate the bigger calculator, because if in smaller calculator what happens, you have only 12 digits, that will give you only 12 digit values. So for that reason, if you calculate in a big in computer or in bigger calculator, you will get, here it is up to so on values you will get. So for that reason 3.142, this is nothing but your pi value. So therefore pi is a irrational number. So what is the definition? After the decimal, if the values are here after the decimal, if digits are not repeating, not terminating, so here it is not repeating and even it is not terminating, such a numbers we can call it as irrational numbers. The root 2, root 7, pi, these are all we can call it as irrational numbers, and the symbol we will use it as q dash. So this is all about, my dear students, rational and irrationals. And now we will going to discuss, my dear students, what is mean by real numbers. So what is mean by real numbers? So real numbers is nothing but it is my dear students, it is, here it is both rational and irrational. The here it is combination, here it is, you can take it as combination, both rational and irrational numbers we can call it as, here it is real numbers. So that here it is will denote by the symbol capital R. So what is the numbers here we need here, my dear students? Here it is both rational union irrational. It means here it is both rational and irrational numbers we can call it as real numbers. This is symbol you can call it as union. That we'll discuss in future. In first topic we'll discuss what is this symbol, that all we will discuss in future. But as of now, both rational and irrational numbers we can call it as real numbers. This is the one definition. Or you can call all the numbers which lies on the number line, whatever points lies on the number line, those all numbers we can call it as the real numbers, and the symbol for real numbers is capital R. Here it is. My dear students, please remember, up to here you studied only this much, you know only this number system, but now onwards we'll discuss what is meant by complex number and imaginary numbers. That will discuss in the topic complex number, that you have in your first year syllabus, that we have complex number topic. There we'll discuss, but as of now we should know what is real numbers, irrational numbers, rational, integers, non-integers, and this negative integer, positive integer, and whole numbers. This all basic idea we should know. For that purpose I explained all this number system. Clear? I hope you understood. Still if you have any doubts you can comment me, I'll reply for that. Clear? So just, my dear students, will recall the things whatever we learned. So my dear students, we discussed what is mean by real numbers. So what is real numbers? Here it is both irrational and rational numbers. The union of rational and irrational numbers we can call it as real numbers, or else the numbers which all the numbers which lie on the number line, such an all numbers we can call it as real numbers, and the symbol for real numbers is capital R. And next, my dear students, again real numbers we can divided into rational and irrational. So what is mean by irrational, my dear students? Irrational means numbers which are not rational numbers, that we can call it as irrational numbers. Or else another one definition I given to you, after the if the number is of the form p by q, in the p by q, if after the decimal, if digits are not repeating, not terminating, such a numbers we can call it as irrational numbers, and symbol for irrational numbers is q dash. And next, my dear students, rational numbers. What is rational numbers? A number of the form p by q, where p and q are integers and denominator should not be equals to 0. Such a numbers we can call it as rational numbers, and for the rational number symbol is q. It is the one definition. And another one definition we should know. What is that? After in the p by q form, after the decimal, if values repeating or terminating, then we can call it as rational numbers, and the symbol for rational number is q, and for the symbol for irrational number is q dash. And next, my students, rational number, again we are dividing two parts, integers and non-integers. It means here it is, we can take integer and non-integer. So integer means it is, here it is 0, plus 1, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3. Such a values we can call it as integers. In Kannada we can call it as purnaankagalu. Clear? And rational number means bhagalabdha, I think, and this is irrational means abhagalabdha sankhyegalu. Bhagalabdha sankhyegalu. Integers means purnaankagalu. Non-integers means, here it is, you can call it as apurnaankagalu, I think. And now, my dear students, what is here it is integers. Again we are dividing three parts, positive integer, negative integer, 0. Positive integer, what is positive integer? 1, 2, 3 up to so on, we can call it as the positive integer, or we can call it as natural numbers. What are natural numbers? All counting numbers we can call it as natural numbers, and symbol for natural numbers is capital N. Clear? So 1, 2, 3 up to so on, this we can call it as natural numbers or positive integers you can call. Next, my students, negative integers. What is negative integers? To the positive integers, if I take these positive integers with the negative sign, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, that we can call it as negative integer. And the symbol for negative integer is I to the power minus, I minus, we will write. Here it is I plus we will write, or else capital N we can write. And now, my dear students, to the natural numbers, if you include 0, if to the natural numbers, if you write with 0 means such a number we can call it as the whole number, and symbol for whole number is capital W. Here it is capital letter W. And here, and please remember, 0 is neither a positive nor a negative integers. You can take either in a positive or you can take either in a negative. So this is all about the number system, my dear students. Still, if you have any doubts, you can comment me. I'll reply for that. Clear? And remaining we'll discuss in the next video. Thank you.